skip it. See it or skip it. See it or skip it.
Welcome to a new See It or Skip It, where we're going to be talking about a couple of new documentaries, a mockumentary based on Nirvana, and we've got Glenn Powell again. And we have the perfect person to be talking about Glenn Powell and the star of Kidnapped Elizabeth Smart, Nisha DeGaring. How are you?
I don't know if I'm the star of that, but
you're the star on this station.
I definitely was a contributor there to that documentary. Wait, Glenn Powell? What's he in?
How to Make a Killing?
Of course. Like, look at the experts telling me. I'm not the expert on that, but I will be watching.
Very cool. Well, we're so glad to have you. Thank you for joining. And let's just jump right into it. This is a documentary that covers the investigation that happened when Elizabeth Smart was kidnapped.
Elizabeth was living a very normal life in a very nice neighborhood.
Our community had mobilized. Everybody was willing to just drop what they were doing and search.
We love you. We want you to come home safely to us.
This case captivated the nation. There was a sense of, is it the family? Could he be involved?
My wife said law enforcement don't believe that you're telling the truth.
You were center in this, in covering the stories. You were a reporter back then. What was it like being approached for this? And we talked about this when I first saw the trailer. You're Netflix famous now.
Is that crazy that my kids are more... I mean, I've done TV here at ABC4 for 30 years, and they're like, Mom, now you're on Netflix.
Now you're like a big deal.
Now you've made it. Now our friends watch you, right? Now our friends know about you. So they, the production company contacted me about a year and a half ago, and they said, we were given your name as one of the players that was there every day, and this is back in 2002, and I'd been crime reporting here for about 8 years. And when that happened, I was the night reporter, so I had just woke up in the morning, and I think I got a page. Literally, this is, I mean, so many years, 23 years ago, I think my pager went off. So I called the station and they said, 14-year-old girl taken from her bedroom in the middle of the night in Federal Heights. And I thought, that can't be true. That can't be true. Like, that's such an affluent area in Salt Lake City. And also, does that happen in Utah? Anyway, so I was sent there. That was my spot. There was a command post set up in Federal Heights. I went there every day for the next 8 weeks. So when producers, and they were from, this production company was from London, doing the story, the first thing I said is, Elizabeth involved. And they said, no, not only is she involved, she has final say.
Oh, good.
That's great.
She is part of the editing process. And I said, then I will go back and I will do the interview.
Nice.
So it took place over a year and a half ago. I didn't know how it would turn out, what it would look like, until it came out and I watched it with all of you. Same time.
What was that process like? So they reach out to you, but then they have to schedule you going somewhere and starting these interviews. Was there a lot that was left on the cutting room floor?
Yes, of course. And if you saw it, and everyone, if you haven't seen it, you should. If you remember little bits of that story, there'll be so much more that you say, I forgot about that. That's, I mean, Mary Catherine Talks, little sister, she's not done interviews. So that was fascinating to me. But they wanted me to be in the beginning. The part that Elizabeth isn't in, if you've seen it.
Sure.
We start telling the story from our perspective, and she's missing. And then suddenly they bring her in 25 minutes later, and then she talks about it from how she saw it, and then you don't see me again. Now, I said a lot about how it continued to play out, but now it was her time.
Oh, sure.
Now it was her story. So you're right, a lot was on the cutting room floor, but when you see how they put it together, I liked it. I remember when it started, I was like, I don't like it. How's this working? Where's Elizabeth? It was dramatic to bring her in partway through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's a, you know, a lot happens in the story, and it only, you know, they only have an hour and a half to really tell the story. So a lot of stuff from the overall story was left out. What do you wish they would have brought in or like kept in?
I mean, all these decades later.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
Yes, and when they were asking me questions, Tracy, I was like, and they'd ask me, and I'd say, wait a second, I have to think about that. Because you're going way back for all of us. I mean, I'm sure for Elizabeth it feels like yesterday. I got emotional watching. I thought the emotion was still there for me, the fear of who else could this happen to? I was a little reporter covering a big story.
Sure.
I was standing next to CNN and NBC and CBS, and I did it for weeks and weeks. And at the time, I wanted to get the who, why, what, where, and why, and I wanted to get the best interview and do it just like the network was doing. And I don't think until now, feel it. And now I feel what was happening in those moments. And I feel Ed being targeted, her dad I'm talking about, and had nothing to do with it, but also had things that he was trying to hide. And I feel it more. This little girl was 3 miles from us. During all this time and all these searches for all those first 8 weeks, she was so close and yet so far. And so reliving it for me and watching it that way, yes, a lot was left out, but I thought the emotion was still there.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that, especially the ending.
Well, you have a relationship with her too. She's been on Good Things Utah multiple times. Have you guys talked after the documentary's come out? Have you found any information from her?
So I had her come on the show, and what I did not know, you know, and I'm trying to tell her, Elizabeth is very guarded.
Sure.
And rightfully so. Rightfully so after all of this. And we were in the makeup room before she came out. It was a week after the documentary came out. And I said, I just wanted you to know. I only was part of this project because I knew you were part of it. And I said, how did you feel when you watched it for the first time? She said, oh, I was part of all the edits.
Wow.
I watched the first edit, the second edit, the third edit, the fourth. Awesome. So she was part of the entire process. And I don't think she would have done it if that were not the case.
Oh, sure.
So this is how she wanted it told. And so as you're watching, I want you all to know that. This is her story. This is not what a production company put together and she said, okay, I guess. This was hers. And this was 23 years later, I think the best time to do it. And I said to her, why now? And she said, no, I've been doing it all along. I've been a voice for victims all along.
Right.
But finally, it was time to tell it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the one part in the documentary that I wish we'd gotten a little bit more of. It's just what she's been up to now and like all of the advocacy and all of the, like they showed the TED Talk that she was doing, but I wish we had maybe a little bit more of it. But
Yeah, they only like briefly touch on it.
Right, but you were so good at being able to set up everything, and you had some of the best sound bites at the beginning to arise the suspicion.
You were the hook.
You were, yeah.
By the way, Patrick's the first person that came in because you all get the screeners before we do. And he came in and he's like, hi, you did not tell me you're in that documentary. And I said, wait, am I really in it? Did I not end up on the cutting room floor?
You don't know the edit.
I didn't know. And he's like, no, you're in a lot of it. I will tell you this, the end of it, and I want you to watch it. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it. I didn't know how they would wrap it up. And talking to Elizabeth a week later on our set, I started getting emotional bringing it up, how she takes her power back. I don't think any of us are still fine about what happened to Elizabeth Smart. And I don't think we'll ever be fine. But she is. She is moving on with her life. She has a family. She has a husband. She has a rich, as she says it, and full life now. And it's why you don't see her mother in the documentary. She wants to move on. So many people have turned the page on this part of their life. Now, she will be Elizabeth Smart the rest of her life. And she says, I will use that to help others, and I plan on it. But she does have an incredible life, and I found myself checking my tears because Elizabeth is not sad now. Elizabeth's empowered and wants us to be empowered.
It was so interesting to hear her talk in the documentary, too, because you can tell in the way that she speaks, she has processed a lot, and she has come to terms with a lot of, you know, you can't fix what happened, but you can accept and try to process and help others who have experienced something similar. And you can hear it in the way that she speaks and formulates her thoughts. It was so fascinating.
And there's also so much in how she spoke to herself. Where there was a lot of like, I feel guilty. I feel like there, even though I shouldn't feel guilty. And how she was able to reframe that in her mind. That's probably the toughest thing to do in any situation, is recontextualize something that was horrible into something that could be empowering. And that just shows how strong she is.
She says, I thought I was broken.
Yeah.
I thought I was broken now. Like, who am I? Who do I come home and who am I once I come home?
Yeah.
And I remember seeing her 2 years after she came home. She did an interview, and it wasn't here on set. I went to an event she was speaking at, and she's not that girl now.
Wow.
This has taken a lot of work, and this has taken a journey for her. And I love that it ends on the mountain where she was taken. I love that it came full circle because I stood under that mountain not knowing where she was when she was 3 miles away from all of us, 2 to 3 miles, for all those weeks and weeks. It is a story when we talk kidnapping and we think of Nancy Guthrie in the headlines right now, that statistics say she's not coming home. That's what we all said about Elizabeth Smart.
And a lot of people...
And she did.
A lot of people gave up hope.
Absolutely.
And thought, there's no way, it's been too long.
And as a crime reporter, that's how I felt. I mean, 48 hours in, police are telling you statistically, it's not good. And she came home.
Yep. Well, Tracy, you've seen this. What was your review of it?
Oh, just riveting information. And then I'm old enough, I remember. But like you said, there was so much that I had forgotten.
Yeah.
And so to refresh that. But I was thinking today, it's so interesting to me, there's going to be a whole new generation of people watching this that don't know the story. And you, like Patrick said, set this up so well to introduce it so that when she does come in, there's that aha moment that they're not aware of.
Did you
which would
like
be so interesting.
how they did that? Did you all like how she wasn't in
Waiting
the
until
beginning
the mid-part.
and waiting, and then she's sitting there, and it's this dramatic unveiling of her?
I liked it.
You can't show her because there's the first part is kind of the mystery.
Exactly.
And they can't really reveal that until that bar where he sees these people and he goes, wait, it could be. Smash cut right to her. Incredible. This is absolutely a see it. Make sure that everybody goes and check this out. It's on Netflix right now. Nisha DeGaring is incredible. Thank you so much for coming on the show and talking to us.
I was on See It or Skip It.
It's amazing.
Forget Netflix. I was on See It or Skip It.
Oh, you're the best. Well, let's jump into a disc drop with Leo, who's got a ton of physical releases to tell us about. Leo?
Hello, I'm Leo, and welcome back to the Disc Drop, where I let you guys know everything that's new on physical media. And this week, there's a lot to show you guys. So let's get right into it and show you guys all the new releases for this week. From Universal, we have Wicked for Good on Blu-ray and 4K. Also from Universal, we have Five Nights at Freddy 2 on Blu-ray and 4K. Also from Universal Pictures, we have Song Blue on Blu-ray. From Lionsgate, we have Now You See Me, Now You Don't. From Searchlight Pictures, we have Rental Family on Blu-ray. From Warner Brothers, and the first time on 4K, we have Ben-Hur and All the President's Men. From Neon, we have The Keeper on 4K. A huge shout out to Turbine Media, where you can buy physical media. From Germany, we have Dante's Peak, The Frighteners, and The Cocaine Bear on 4K, all available now. From Lionsgate Limited, they always put out some awesome steelbooks. We have The Cabin Fever on 4K for the first time. And last one from 20th Century Studios, we have Predator Badlands on 4K available now. Well guys, that's my time for this week. Hopefully you guys pick up a lot of those titles that I showed you. And guys, like always, thank you for joining me on the Disc Drop, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you so much, Leo. Make sure you guys follow him on all of his social media pages. But for now, let's jump into, Rebecca, have you ever had a family that have a lump sum of money that you've just wanted to straight up eliminate one by one so that you can inherit their fortune? Well, Glenn Powell did in a movie called How to Make a Killing by A24.
Since the day I was born, my mother told me we were different. Yes, she had been disowned by her family. But someday I would become the sole heir. The real estate, planes, an island or two.
Beckett, no way. So are you living in the city now?
Yeah, I do. A little outside of it.
Whatever happened to the Redfellow family fortune?
I'll inherit it. Someday.
Glenn Powell is finishing his Capybara trilogy with this one. He's played this role a couple times where he's doing something super sleuthy. He's got to go undercover. He's got to
come up with identities.
Yeah, some scheming. He likes the scheming trilogy.
Yes.
Tracy, you came in hot about this one, so I want to hear first from you what he thought.
This is kind of loosely based on an Alec Guinness film back in the day. Glenn Powell has all the charm, all the wit, all the charisma, and he doesn't really show any of it in this movie to me. He is just a flat line throughout this movie. And it wasn't until Topher Grace showed up that I'm like, finally, we have somebody who's bringing something.
When the supporting cast does outact him, and I would say the same thing, Zach Woods was my favorite part of the whole thing. Just because I think he's a hilarious comedian anyway.
Right.
If you've not watched Silicon Valley, you're missing out on one of the best stuff with him. But
I thought it just wasn't. It wasn't twisty. It wasn't thrillery. If that's even a word.
Yeah.
It just wasn't fun for me. I'm just sitting there going, like, the movie ended after 2 hours, and I thought it must have been 3.
Yeah.
I was like, when is this going to be over? And I'm the rare critic. I'm usually the guy who's like, no, it's pretty good. And in this one, they told me afterwards, they're like, you were the one who hated it the most. This is a dud for me.
We just need to let you know, Tracy.
They were like, you were the one who was the negative one. But
Rebecca, what was yours? What was your thoughts on it? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tracy.
No, I was just going to say, most people seem to like it, but...
For me, it was fine.
It's a fine.
Like, it was fine. Margaret Qualley, she's playing the same character that I feel like she's played in a couple of different movies. But I was talking to a friend about A24 really feels like they've fallen off. They had a lot of success with Everything Everywhere All at Once, and ever since then they've been resting on their laurels and producing movies that will benefit the most for them based on star power. And that's what this movie feels like.
I wouldn't call it resting. I would say it's like outputting way more than they need to be putting to the point where you're sacrificing a little bit of quality. And they talked about that. They wanted to go a little more mainstream, but we're starting to see the cracks for that idea. You're right. This is very much a smooth brain parasite where like we're infiltrating, we're figuring out stuff, but at the end of the day, once you start thinking logically about what's going on, the whole thing collapses.
Like, I might suggest watching No Other Choice instead of this movie.
Absolutely. It's a longer one, but it's a great one.
No Other Choice. There's other movies that do this better.
Arrested Development.
Arrested Development.
I just felt like it was just coasted the whole way, and it felt very flat. There were no peaks and valleys. There was no dramatic character change. It just flatlined the whole way for me.
It was fine. It was fine.
Perfectly fine for streaming.
More from the cast.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a great cast.
So,
there would be, you got Ed Harris, you've got Margaret Qualley, who, you know, she's a good foil to him. I'll give her that, and she's still a great actress. But this one, it just didn't really hit those marks. So for me, it's a wait for it, if not a skip it. Rebecca?
Yeah, wait for it. Yeah.
I'm a flat out skip it.
It's flat out skip it. So let us know if you guys get a chance to see it. What do you want Glenn Powell in the future? What's the next roles he needs to be taking? Does he need a smashing machine? Does he need an I Am Sam? What is?
Because between the bad football TV Hulu series and Running Man, he's got.
Yeah, I just think you don't like Glenn Powell.
I liked Chad Powers. I thought that was, except the ending was.
I'm disappointed. I want more from him.
Yep. Well. Let's move into our next movie, which is one that was not on my radar at all. I didn't know anything about this thing. I walked in open-minded and honestly was very happy with this. Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie.
Watch out, watch out!
What's going on here?
It's just, well, this is actually kind of hard to explain.
Time machine plan. This is going to be the last plan you and I ever have to do. And as far as I'm concerned, Nirvana the band is playing the Rivoli tonight. We have the RV, deck it out like the DeLorean.
Ah! So it's a full-time machine! Okay, watch this. Hold on to your butts!
The time machine worked.
Yeah.
Matt Johnson, who directed Blackberry. If you haven't had a chance to see that, that's a great film. These is a band that is desperately trying to get a gig at a show, and they accidentally invent time travel in order to do it. That's pretty much the premise, right?
And this movie comes from a web series that ran from 2007 to 2009 and then was a 3-season TV show starting in 2017 and is now in 2026 a movie. And so I went back and I rewatched the web series, or not rewatched, I watched for the first time the web series, and the humor is consistent, and it's chuckle fest for me. Like I was hooting and hollering the whole movie.
And what's crazy about it is like the time travel is a huge point in it, but they blatantly just parody, laud all of the Back to the Future score, all of the moments, the flux capacitor.
The Canadian version of Back to the Future 4.
It is extremely Canadian.
Oh, very Canadian.
There's a point in the story where they basically break the fourth wall and they're like, if you are seeing this in a movie, you have no idea what we went through to make this
This is the only time you're ever going to
true.
see it.
I don't know how they got a lot of that done. It had to have been a Weird Al parody law type thing. But what did you think, Tracy?
And reading so much about, after I saw it, I went back and I was reading articles and watching some interviews and stuff like that. And the amount of inside Toronto jokes. They're like, if you were alive in Toronto in 2008 and you're watching this now, you're just going to bust up laughing.
Yeah.
I was impressed with learning a lot of the footage is stuff that they shot back in 2006 that they never used for the original show, that now they're figuring out how to edit and put into this movie. And the scene where they are jumping off of the tower into the Toronto Blue Jays Stadium and how they pulled that off.
Yeah.
Like, they made this movie while they were filming it and in the editing room.
Yeah.
Like, there's a scene where he's running away from a mansion, and it's Drake's mansion.
And it's Drake's mansion, and there's a police presence because there was a shooting at Drake's mansion.
And so
oh, that was the reason. Okay.
They were driving around Toronto, and they're like, oh, we heard on the radio that there was a big police presence at Drake's mansion. Let's go over and see what's going on. And then decided to film there.
One of the funniest bits was when he's on the tour bus. And
I gasped so loud because you aren't expecting it.
had to figure out why he was running away from the cops and the media. And then they came up with that scene. And then they said, but why would he have that happen on the tour bus? And then had to go back and film. So they're making the film almost backwards. It's a riot.
A deconstructed mockumentary, but works so well. I really do think anybody should be going and checking out these types of films right now. It's not necessarily like an A24, but this is a passion project that you can feel from beginning to end. Like, you can tell they love Canada. You can tell they love what they're doing right now. And it's a really good buddy relationship movie.
Well, do you know why? It's neon. And I am afraid I'm selling my A24 stock to buy in neon. I think neon is the happening place.
The rising
give them a chance. Let them cook. Maybe they'll come up with something. Actually, the Robin Hood movie might be good.
No, I'm buying stock in neon.
All right.
I'm holding on my A24 though. Yeah, I'm not selling. But.
Overall, though, I really like this director, and I'm super excited to see what he comes out with next. He was able to build this into a spectacle that I did not see coming, and it's definitely worth checking out. So see it for me. What do you think, Tracy?
Definitely see it. They come up with some crazy stuff. Like I said, they are like they're filming on the streets of Toronto with no permits. They have no permission to do any of this stuff. They're climbing like cable cars. Like, and he said they never got arrested. Like, the police told them to, like,
because they're so
knock it
nice.
off, right? It was a lot of fun, and I want to see it now that I know more about it. I want to see it again and appreciate it more the second time. But definitely see it for me.
Awesome, Rebecca.
Yeah, see it for sure. It's one of the few rare movies. I don't rewatch movies. I want to go back to a theater and rewatch this because I want to support these guys.
It's so different.
And it's so different. It's so funny. I have a blast. I think to see it.
These are the movies that we talk about they need to be making more of, so make sure that you go and check this one out. It is in theaters right now, but let's move into what is on streaming. We talked a little bit about a documentary before, but we do have to talk about this Tyra Banks, America's Next Top Model fiasco.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. I haven't really said much, but now it's time. Fashion, model, art.
On America's Next Top Model, we were showing the behind the scenes of what the fashion world was.
I wanted to fight against the fashion industry. The only reason the door was open to me was because of Tyra.
We had an audience of over 100 million people.
I felt like I was part of something so big.
That was a moment where I realized, oh my God, I think we built a monster.
Not too much, but let's just say the 90s and the 2000s were crazy. And they were getting away with a lot of stuff on television, and Tyra Banks is not apologizing for any of it, really.
The audacity of Tyra Banks. I would not wish being a teenage girl in the early aughts on anybody. It was a horrific time to be alive. But of course, I watched the first 4 or 5 seasons of that show, and I thought Tyra Banks was an icon. And so
we all watched Life Size, we know.
But then, like, over time, you kind of see, like, oh, maybe she is, like, a little crazy. And then this documentary, like, she just
kind of takes
stamp
on that.
Zero
we know she didn't get final edit for some of this.
Well, I was telling Rebecca beforehand, she like shows up to do these interviews in a trench coat. It's almost like she thought she'd just pop in, that this would be kind of like a glamorized, yay, I'm so
Wasn't the show so fun?
Wasn't the show so much fun? And now we're going to start season 25, which I don't think there's a chance that they're going to do.
No way.
Outright refuses to even acknowledge some of the questions. It's an indictment on what reality TV was back in the Wild West days, when really there was no rules, and they were they were showing up in blackface. They were showing up and damaging people's teeth, literally, like doing constructive surgery on them, ruining their lives in some ways.
The young lady who said, "My mom was killed," or was she killed?
Her mom was paralyzed by gun violence, and then they did a photo shoot where she was modeling gun violence.
Yeah. They called the one girl fat, and so they made them do animal photographs, and they made her the elephant. And the one girl gets SA'd, and they filmed it, and then they made it look like she was cheating on her boyfriend, because that would be a better storyline.
Yep, it's all horrific. And just it's an example of how a narcissist can just kind of stay consistent through all that. It's never anything wrong with them. It's always something else, or I wasn't a part of that team. I couldn't have known.
It was so wild because when certain topics would come up, she would go, oh, that was production. I wasn't a part of that. That was the story team. I wasn't a part of that. When 30 minutes earlier, she's talking about how she was involved in every single aspect of the show.
Because it's her name and it's her show.
Yeah, so which is it, Tyra?
And anyone that does these kind of things, that have a show, know that you are involved in pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Soup to nuts.
And at least some of the judges came and said, we should not have done that. But she just kind of wants to gloss over it. And she wants to take credit for all the good things that happened and all the positive things and take none of the responsibility.
Kind of a good thing Janice Dickinson wasn't around, because that would have been nuts.
That would be fascinating. It's a 3-episode arc. I think it's worth watching just to kind of, you're going to feel gross after, but it's also a very interesting watch to see how they dance around a lot of things. See it for me, see it for you too?
Yeah, definitely a see it. I really liked seeing how the contestants, the former people on the show, seem to thrive afterwards. Not necessarily in modeling, how it definitely turned their lives upside down as they tried to embark in the modeling world. It didn't happen for them, and now they seem to live like relatively successful lives.
Yeah, that was nice to see. I wish they didn't put it in the credits.
Yeah.
Maybe like show that and
give them a minute
celebrate
to shine.
them a little bit.
And watching some of their reactions on TikTok now that it's out and talking about their experience is interesting as well. So it's a see it for me, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, those are all of our picks for this week. Let us know what your favorites are. For me, I think it's got to be Nirvana. You got to check that
Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie.
Great title.
Yeah. Well, and I want to thank both of you for coming on. But before we finish everything, we have to make one quick announcement, Rebecca.
Oh, do you like to read? I hope you do.
I don't. I mean, yeah.
You can listen to audiobooks. We are going to launch a book club. I talk about books enough on this show that Patrick decided we can do a book club.
Woo.
And we're going to start, what are we calling it? Read it or screen
This is going to be, this is Read It or Screen It. So before you watch the movie, read the book first. Check out why they made it into a movie, and our first pick is a great one.
Project Hail Mary. It comes out on March 20th, and if you're not a reader, perfect, because the audiobook version of this book is the preferred way to experience this book. It's one of my all-time favorite books, written by Andy Weir, who wrote The Martian. So if you like The Martian, if you like science fiction, not even science fiction, like science maybe, like
science possibly.
Like what I loved most about this book was it's very science heavy, but it never ever makes you feel stupid. And you've seen the trailers for Project Hail Mary. It's going to be a banger.
Ryan Gosling, directed by Phil Lord, Chris Miller. Like there's a lot of love going into this movie. And the author of the book, Andy Weir, he also was like, hey, there's certain spoilers in the trailer, but it's there for a reason. And cannot recommend this book enough. I'm so excited to read it with you guys.
Yep, and people can check these out at libraries. It's one that everybody will be able to get access to.
Oh yeah.
Oh, bookstores everywhere. Yeah.
More details to follow on this awesome new segment that I'm so excited to have you spearhead. This is going to be great. Tracy, thank you so much for coming on the show. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Moviesthatmakeus.com.
Very cool. And Rebecca, we've got a couple.
Okay, we've got the Geek Show podcast, we got TV Show in Space, and now we've got Read It or Screen It here on See It or Skip It.
I like that. It sounds like a tongue twister.
Yeah,
and you made it. That was great. Follow all of us on all of our social media, and make sure that you tune in for next week, because it's going to be a Scream celebration. We're going to be talking about all of them for the 30th anniversary of the first film and Scream 7. Can you believe that they are
That's a lot.
doing it again?
That's too many.
Oh man. Well, thank you everybody so much for watching, and we will see you at the next review.